Welcome back. I am 13, and today is going to be one of those adventures that you kind of, it's going to be a dumpster fire, but you just can't look away. I really don't even need to describe this one if you take 2 seconds to look at the deck list, but let's go ahead and break it down. So, first and foremost, this is a hunted deck. Yep. As far as sweetness goes, it's probably like an 8. In terms of power, like probably a 3. I am a huge fan of undercosted threats with downside, and I like trying to make them happen, but that doesn't mean they're good. So, hunted cards are kind of a weird. Yeah, they're weird. So, Hunted Phantasm, 3 mana for a 4/6 unblockable. When it comes into play, you give your opponent 5/1/1 Red Goblin creature tokens. Hunted Troll, 4 mana for an 8/4. When it enters the battlefield, you give your opponent 4 fairies, and you can pay green to regenerate. And the new Clackbridge Troll is a 5 mana 8/8 trample haste. When it enters the battlefield, you give your opponent 3 goats, and then your opponent can sack a goat to distract the troll. But if you do, you gain 3 life and you draw a card. So, Clackbridge Troll was an attempt at kind of fixing the Hunted series. Um, it's by far the best one that we've got, but we're going to try to make this happen. And that's going to be with Phantasmal Image to copy the best creature on the table. Not actually expecting that to be the hunted creature all too often. We're probably going to be using what our opponent's using. But then we have Illness of the Ranks, just black. All creature tokens get -1/-1. That'll kill off all the creature tokens your opponent gets, so we'll hopefully just have an undercosted threat. And then we have Plague Engineer. Should pair pretty well with any of our threats. So if we give our opponent fairies, we just Plague Engineer on fairy, and they don't get the fairies. Also, incidentally, Illness in the Ranks is pretty good versus Urza, but yeah, hunted deck. We have some value creatures. Icefang Coatl should be able to keep us alive for a while, with the bridge and the troll costing 4 and 5 mana respectively. We have Birds of Paradise to help kind of wrap us up. We have a little bit of interaction, but we're going to give opponents some tokens, and we're going to die to those tokens. Let's go ahead and reset the record and get our window to the right size. I will say I've had a couple of updates for MTGO, Streamlabs. I'm lagging a little bit today, but we're going to see how that does. We have a Flibblethip! What are you doing here, buddy? This is fine. This has just about everything that we want to, and we can try to draw into a good threat. So, let's give this guy a shot. No hunted creatures yet, but we have 2 cantrips, and we have everything else to set up for it. So, here's my bop. Next turn we get to Astrolabe and Flibblethip, assuming that this isn't discard. Watery Grave, Death Shadow. Our creatures might be big enough to fight Death Shadows, but okay, this is going to be the WTF moment. Where it makes absolutely no sense. But opponent can officially Death Shadow. Yeah, first things first. Let's just Flibblethip, see if we draw something good. Opponent likely has more discard. And we got a Snow-Covered Forest. Alright, opponent doesn't know about these 2 cards, so let's go ahead and Watery Grave with a shock and run out the Illness in the Ranks. Prismatic Vista being able to get a snow is actually relevant here, but I don't want to go get a snow-covered swamp yet. If we top deck a... Okay. Okay. If we top deck a Coatl, that feels bad. This is actually fine. So we'll chump block for a turn, then we get to run out the Hunted Troll, and the Regenerate is actually live. Like it's an 8/4 Regenerate. Actually might have been a mistake not to run out this Illness in the Ranks. I'm not going to be doing anything next turn. It doesn't hurt to have a secondary effect. Opponents on Grixis, so they likely don't have... Okay, bye Troll. We tried. Opponent, did you think that's how your night was going to go? Thought Scour targeting themselves, so they likely have a Gurmag Angler coming. Dismember for the Flibblethip. Okay. I will take 12, respectfully, of course. And that's a breeding pool. All right. Death Shadow. Aggressive and actually has good cards. So what can we do here? Veil of Summer's coming in. Protection from blue and black. They only have a little bit of burn. Not a fan of Surgical Extraction. This is in here for combo matchups. If for some reason they thought Scour over a Battle Rage, I'd be kind of inclined to bring this in. Removal that can hit Fish and Death Shadow are definitely on the table, although they are countered by Stubborn Denial. So going to try to take that into evaluation. The Phantasmal Images likely, I could actually be fine with a Gurmag Angler, but Clack Bridge might be a little bit on the weaker side. The Unblockable can actually, funny enough, finish off the opponent if they go a little low. The Fatal Push can remove the Death Shadows, but not the Anglers. Plague Engineer having Death Touch is really good. Death Touch here is mildly relevant as long as opponent doesn't have the Teamer Battle Rage. I think I'm actually just going to cut the Trolls because they're just a little too expensive, and probably some of the Phantasmal Images. Maybe a Troll just because it is expensive. Essentially just trying to get a little bit more lean here. Yeah, I don't really have a lot of words to say what happens when opponent is on Death Shadow. Let's keep this mainly on the strength of Veil of Summer. I'm going to just lead on basic Forest to try to counter the Thoughtseize on one. Like, this right here is going to shut down a lot of what opponents try to do right off the bat. And if they can't Thoughtseize, it's going to keep our life total kind of high. Ta-da! Cantrip. It's just Cryptic Command. There's no sugarcoating that. It's just Cryptic Command. Alright, Island. Run out Astrolabe. Cantrip some more, and get ready to Veil of Summer their next drop. Assuming it's more discard, could potentially be a... No, that wasn't Snapcaster yet. I'm expecting more discard. Or just a Death Shadow. Dang, opponent has been on it. Getting that life total low. And we keep drawing lands. Okay, well next turn we get to Coatl and Veil of Summer, so... Honestly, it doesn't matter what we run out here, but I'm just going to go get a Forest so that we don't have to try to filter. It's unlikely that opponent brought in any kind of artifact hate, but I'd rather not risk it and just have two blue sources. Okay, so they only have blue and black available. This is permanence gain hexproof, so yeah, it won't protect the Coatl, and the Coatl will be exposed if I run it out now. Whatever. Veil of Summertron is quite effective. I'm a fan. So let's go ahead and get me another snow-covered forest. And see if they've got Fatal Push. Oh man, this has just been amazing. I wish I could stop freaking drawing garbage, though. Alright, well, opponents likely used all the discard that they've got, so I'm just going to empty my hand here and let opponent try to discard lands if they happen to have any more. They would have Gurmag Anglered if they had it. Stubborn Denial wasn't live last turn. Oh my gosh, so much mana. So very much mana. Alright, well, I don't think opponent has much going on. This is reeking of removal and potentially a Battle Rage. Okay, well, I would like just about anything in my deck at this point except a land. Oh, my overlay's not correct. My bad. Sorry, wrong deck list on the side. Let's get that updated. Seriously, Streamlabs, you are being so buggy tonight. Sorry, opponent. Trying to fix Streamlabs. There we go. That was way too hard. So I can Assassin's Trophy them off of red. It's likely they don't have a basic mountain. Yeah, that's fine. Snapcaster is technically a clock. But I'm okay to take a couple of hits from it. Opponent doesn't have anything right now that makes Stubborn Denial live. That's rough. But I have enough mana at the moment to... Yeah, that's not happening. Assassin's Trophy and any of my hunted things. I did board out my 5-mana ones, but... Oh my gosh. Wow. Okay, I'm... How close are we to a bug report here? We only had one fetch land, but that's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 of 19. We might be pulling up the calculator after this match. Hello, Gurmag Angler. Alright, 11 of 20. We are relatively close to dead from a Teamer Battle Rage on the Gurmag Angler. It'll put us down to 3 life, and then opponent can bolt us if they happen to have bolt in hand. Alright, let's get a couple more lands out. Okay, that is technically live, but opponent has 4 cards in hand, which means this is going to get Stubborn Denialed, and then the game's over. Yep. Okay. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. GG's opponent. We went 12 of 22 cards. Let's see how many lands we've got. So 3, 6, 10, 12, 16, 19, 21. So let's go back to this guy, pull up the hypogeometric calculator. I understand fetching messes with this, but we have 60 cards, we have 21 successes, we ended up drawing 22 cards, and I believe 12 of them were lands. I already forgot the number because I counted so many things, but that is 1.7% chance for that to happen. That is heartbreaking right there. Nothing but lands. All right, well, winter hunting, obviously a play on the fact that we have snow lands and hunted creatures. Waiting for the next round to come up. Again, not expecting anything to really happen here, but going to try to have some fun with janky deck. I probably actually should have mentioned that this deck is rated M for meme. We are basically doing something really stupid. Game 1 against Death Shadow there, we actually might have had a shot of accomplishing something if we could have actually cast our Hunted Troll, but discard got us there. Yeah, just really hard to make any analysis of that. But looks like we got our next game. I'll update the record. We are currently down 1 versus Grixis Death Shadow. We even had a ton of cantrips in there. We could just not get it to happen. This is fine. Most of our deck is actually very expensive. This lets us cast anything in our deck and get a redraw. We're also on the draw. We have some interaction. Hand's not stellar, but it's nothing I'm going to ship back. Wooded Foothills makes me think Ponza or John right off the bat. Stomping Grounds looking more like Ponza. Dredge. Okay. Don't actually have a lot of answers to Dredge. Even in the board, we only have the surgicals. But we did just draw a hunted thing, so looking for an illness in the ranks or a plague engineer. Plague engineer is actually quite effective versus Dredge. And it's more likely our bird survives. They can try to dredge into a conflagrate and conflagrate for one. I've seen Dredge do that against me a lot, but wow. Okay. That's pretty good. Turn 2 on the draw, already getting a prized amalgam and hitting their conflagrate. So if they have another red source, they can conflagrate for 5, hit me for 4, hit the Birds of Paradise. Then that puts me at 12, so I'm dead to the last 3 Creeping Chills in their deck. I guess they can only conflag for 4, but still not a great position to be in. Life from the Loam. Okay, so it's going to get pretty nasty pretty fast. Hunted Phantasm would give 5 goblins. I'd be able to block the prized amalgam. The Coatl won't have Death Touch yet, but it is a redraw. Having 3 mana here, I think I'd just... Oh, yep. Let's go get an island and Hunted Phantasm. It's what our deck wants to do, so I guess we'll give this a shot. Opponent, would you like 5 gobos? They do get a loam and just kill the Hunted Phantasm, so... I mean, we're doing things. At least we're trying to. I have to imagine this is just the pause of like, did that actually just happen? In all honesty, the Hunted Phantasm stopping 3 damage here is only going to net 2 more damage to me this turn. Then I get to... I guess I can only do 1 Coatl, but I can Coatl and Assassin's Trophy next turn. I think right now opponent's trying to do the math of figuring out if it's worth dredging the life from the loam because they won't be able to conflagrate right now, or they can just take a natural draw and conflagrate for 7. They can clear my board, hit me for 9. Interesting. I didn't realize that came out in Eldraine. Oh boy. So they dredge Golgari Thug and Life from the Loam. And feeling very unconfident at the moment. City of Brass being significantly cheaper than... Yep. The Mana Confluence online just because of that trigger. You also can't undo it if you take the damage from the trigger. Clackbridge Troll. So I can flash in my Coatl, get a redraw. Actually, I think that's what I have to do. So I'm looking for an illness in the ranks, otherwise this is just done. Yeah, because I can actually double Coatl here or just Assassin's Trophy, but I'm still looking at taking 5, and opponent's got 3 more Creeping Chills for me. There's no coming back from this. All right, Dredge. So Surgical gets to come in. Veil of Summer doesn't actually stop the Conflagrate. It does stop the Creeping Chill triggers, but that's probably not good enough. Collective Brutality is only a temporary solution. This is mainly in here for burn. I think I actually might want this just for the 2 life, so that the life becomes less significant, and also force them to have landfall drops to get blood gas back. But let's see what we're trimming, because I do have a lot of really big threats that they can't deal with. So I like the board clear. The Plague Engineer on Zombie or Vampire are both kind of relevant. Flibblethip, it's funny when you show up, but I think you're not making the cut today. Temporary removal is kind of meh. I don't mind having a couple of these in here, but it's not something I want to actively be drawing into. The Assassin's Trophy can actually just might be worse than the Fatal Pushes. It can hit Shriekhorn and mana, but they are a Life from the Loam deck. Yeah, I mean, just gain a little bit of life and try to pick away any of their early dredgers. I think that's the best we can ask for here. This is Bop, removal, redraws. No threat, but we do have one of our pieces to make our threats good, as well as 3 redraws. Sure. I am not a picky person. Alright, there's our Bop. Here you go, opponent. Just don't do anything busted. Shriekhorn's a thing. Alright, well, I have to use Snow on this, so it's coming out first. Misty can go get me another Snow. Blue's going to be more relevant here. And there's a Coatl, but I can't pay for it. So what do I want to Fatal Push next turn? Nothing's going to have haste, so let's just Illness. Let's get this out there. A lot of dredge boards into Assassin's Trophy for unconditional removal for either artifacts or enchantments, so this is exposed, but the opponent hasn't shown us anything busted yet, but this is Mom Hug. Yep, bye. There's a Thug I can't do anything about. They pick up a Stinkweed for 5, a Thug for 4, and a Dark Blast for 1. They hit a Narcomoeba and a Prized Amalgam, a Bloodghast, and have another Stinkweed, and a Life from the Loam, and a Conflagrate. Just having all kinds of fun. Phantasmal Image can copy the Prized Amalgam. I'm not stoked about that at the moment. Let's get a redraw. Yeah, I might have missed tap for that. But I have Death Touch. The Conflagrate is actually going to clear my Death Toucher out of the way and the Birds of Paradise out of the way. The Phantasmal Image only needs 1 point of burn from Conflagrate to die. So I think what I'm looking for here is to get them to bait the Conflagrate pre-combat, and then I can just Fatal Push the Prized Amalgam. I'm still on the table for 2 from the Narcomoebas, but okay, they dredged the Stinkweed, found well, there's 4 Bloodghast in the yard. Surgical would be nice here. There's a Mom Hug, pitching the Stinkweeds they dredged, and they hit their other Prized Amalgams. Okay, Dead of Winter might be an okay top deck that I wouldn't be horribly opposed to seeing. Picks up Stinkweed Imp again. Found yet another Narcomoeba. Oh, that is ridiculous. Okay. This is going to cost me 1 life to Fatal Push off the Nurturing Peatland. I guess we just do this off the birds. We assign the block here. And look at all those Prized Amalgam triggers. Should be 16 of them. Actually, there's more than 16 of them. Okay, Hunted Phantasm. That is a free draw, so let's see if we get something a little better. No, but that's a decent follow-up. So that can actually one-shot opponent next turn if they attack out too hard. So we're going to go any color, blue, blue. There's a Hunted Phantasm. You get 0 tokens. Then I'm going to take fairly close to lethal, but then get to Clackbridge Troll. I really need to Phantasmal Image it next turn. Oh, never mind. I'm taking 7. 6, 1. Yep, I'm dead. Yay, Dredge doing Dredge things. Because this is 8, 12, this is 22 damage. They're just sending 8 at me. Yep. Can't do much about that. Sideboard was not respecting the graveyard hard enough, but then again, the deck wasn't respecting a real opponent, so only so much that you can do there. Move it to 0-2. The ability to get illness in the ranks has actually been fairly impressive. Early builds of this deck had Liliana the Veil, so we could discard redundant combo pieces, but she just didn't really help with the strategy when we're trying to get to 5 mana in Modern. Like, it just doesn't work that way. Ice Fang Coatl and the Astrolabes to filter just felt like you could get enough time to get Death Touch 1/1s out there, force the opponent to interact with them, buy some time, and then hopefully just have a resilient threat. But as always, Jund is just going to be the better version of trying to stall mid-range and then land a resilient threat, especially something like a Termagloyf that's only 2 mana, but still very, very powerful. But whatever, we're playing Hunted Things. It's fun. Alright, well, let's see if match 3 is a little bit kinder to us. We have a Flibblethip! We're on the draw. This is a Coatl with Death Touch on opponent's 4th turn. What are our 1-drops that we care about? Push, birds. Okay, we can do better. And this is technically playable, but we can do better. Yeah, this is better. Let's keep this guy. We're going to tuck the Troll. Just because we are a couple of turns away from casting it, and any hunted threat should actually be okay at this point. Tap Steam Vent. So this could be Storm, some variant of Control. Could be the Phoenix deck trying out the new instant speed discard. I heard it's a little too slow, but this could be the Grixis control list. All right. The pause for what is going on. And then we'll see if opponent's going to bolt or bird. If they do, we'll just run out Coatl. If not, we'll still probably just run out Coatl. Cutthroat. Okay, so is this Merfolk? This could also be the Control Shell. Like, this was a viable threat. It's a 2-mana flash threat. That's okay. I'm actually just going to let that go. I don't want to take the additional 1 point of damage, and I don't have Death Touch. So any kind of a spell would actually make it grow out of the range of the Coatl at this point, where I can untap if opponent hasn't done anything and they don't have a counterspell. Plague Engineer should clean it up. Coatl here being a bait for the counterspell. Way, way, way back in the day, Merfolk tried splashing red just for Lightning Bolt because it was really good and helped win the race. Also killed Pestermite, but this looks like opponents trying to figure out if they want to counter it or not. Feels like we have too many lands. Right now, that's my takeaway. Alright, let's see if you kept the counterspell. You did. Oh, it's a remand? That's fine. Like, I'm not stoked about it, but that's fine. Brineborn Cutthroat. So it looks like Blue-Red Kiki Flash is a deck in Modern and kind of Jeskai Tempo. That could both be running it. Watery Grave. Okay, I don't know what is going on with our mana base here. This is absolutely disgusting. Um, I have 5 drops and 21 lands and 4 mana dork should not be giving me this much hassle. Okay, well, I'm going to make the assumption that this is the Kiki Flash deck because that's what it looks like. So we're going to Plague Engineer on Fairy because that stops Brazen Borrower, Vendilion Click, and Pestermite. This looks like opponent has a Cryptic Command and they're trying to figure out what to do with it. Yep. Veil of Summer is going to be a card I'm highly interested in bringing in. Also bringing in Collective Brutality for Dress. This just feels like a wash. Opponent's a control list and they've got multiple cards in hand. I've got a couple of lands. They have 2 mana 4/3. I really don't even have a way to kill at this point unless I beat it in combat. Okay, so Assassin's Trophy during their upkeep, so they don't have an opportunity to draw a new card, but it's also not going to grow the Cutthroat. Unless they do something here. Unfortunately, they are going to have Kiki mana with a single red source, so I actually have to kill this. So it is Kiki Flash. Yeah. We still have 3 lands in hand, so can only get so excited. Oh, Illness in the Ranks would have stopped Kiki. I'm bad at this game. I can get rid of that stop. Let's see. Anything interesting? I'm assuming land. Fatal Push. Fatal Push is technically a draw, so I'm going to let that go. I technically probably should have ran out this land, but I'm going to try to Fatal Push, and when it gets countered, we're just going to move on. Okay, so they do have the Brazen Borrower. Let's try to Fatal Push this. I actually should probably wait for the Brazen Borrower to get put onto the stack, just because opponent's likely going to cast it here. Because this is Flash. So they just would have had less mana in case they were holding up a Cryptic. But I'm also expecting to just take a double bolt and die, so if opponent doesn't have counter magic, they have burn. Hey, look, it's a Flibblethip! What are you doing here? Oh, opponent, you want to see my hand of lands and the Birds of Paradise you bounced? You got it. That has to be a curious what is going on. Oh, opponent's looking for counter magic. Alright, whatever. I've seen enough. Why did they move it up? If okay, Collective Brutality kills a lot of their X1s. Veil of Summer stops all of their counter magic, and I don't really want a surgical. They are a combo deck, but it really doesn't matter. I want the unconditional removal. We can cut. Flibblethip actually doesn't do anything. He's sadly depressing here. Plague Engineer is actually fantastic. Dead of Winter's okay. I actually think that this is going to hurt us more than help us in this matchup. Wow, we have a lot of things to cut. This is going to kill so many of their creatures if it lands. Hunted Troll might be a little bit harder to pull off, and I'm going to be naming Fairy with Plague Engineer. Let's actually get the Hunted Phantasms out of here. That seems like one of the more awkward cards. Phantasmal Image, sure, we can trim. This blocks most of their flyers, and a lot of their bounce effects are going to actually benefit us. Maybe just bring in 2 Collective Brutality, since I mainly want this for dress. I can kill some of their creatures. I think this is probably better than Assassin's Trophy. Sort by CMC. We've still got a decent curve here. Let's not just draw a million lands. Sure, this is fine. This actually does incidentally hate on their strategy, so I'm okay to hang on to it. The Astrolabe here is just the redraw. We can pitch an extra land to this Collective Brutality when we actually fire it off, assuming the opponent's not holding up Spell Snare. Opponent has not opted to mulligan yet. They are still currently on 7. Yeah, Illness in the Ranks killing Pestermite actually seems relevant. If they try to Kiki, they're just not going to be successful because they create creature tokens that are X1s. They could potentially have... I don't know. Like, I can't imagine that they'd actually be bringing in the Deceiver Exarchs. It's a 1/4 on the ground. It just doesn't really help their strategy much. For realsies deck, for realsies. Okay, well they do have Spell Snare up, which means I'm going to probably just go get a dual land since I don't have a Coatl handy. Mystic Sanctuary. Okay. So it feels like the odds of them having a Spell Snare are still fairly high. But if this is a land... Wow. Alright then. This one can trip, so let's just 2-mode Collective Brutality. Pitch one of the fetch lands. Let opponent Spell Snare it, and then that means the next one should land. Did I not actually play a land for turn? Okay, whatever. It's honestly not that fun playing this deck when all you see is lands. If we top deck a 4-drop, I'll be super sad. Or even the 5-drop. This could be a V-click. Interesting. So what happened there was me not playing a land last turn kind of baited the fact that we didn't have a land. The fact I discarded one should have actually said something. That's slightly disappointing, but we're going to 2-mode, kill the creature, duress. Just the way that this has been going, I'm assuming I'm going to draw a replacement land here. And I actually want to get... No, I'm fine on snow permanents, so this is fine. Would not be surprised to see Force of Negation here if they're trying to protect something. Remand, Sinkhole, and Cryptic Command. They don't have the mana for Cryptic yet. Remand has the most synergy with their hand, though, but Snap Remand's going to be worse than Snap Cryptic, so let's get rid of one of the uses for Cryptic. Maybe it was greedy going for the drain on one. Alright, so opponent's going to run out Cutthroat here. Why to do this during their turn? They're likely going to remand it, and then I'll just recast it. If for some reason they drew something that actually interacts with me in a favorable way for them, then I'd prefer just to be doing it during their combat step. Look at that, drew the land. So likely going to get remanded here, and then opponent's going to snap remand, but this is what our deck does. All right. There's another Cutthroat. That's worth mentioning. So snap remand is going to put 2 counters on the Cutthroat. Oh boy. So I know I'll be taking 6 next turn. Or I just Fatal Push, and I imagine if I don't do anything here, opponent's actually just going to run out the Snapcaster Mage. Actually, Snapcaster Cryptic is worse. I have to get them to burn the Snapcaster here before Cryptic becomes an option. They're getting really close to being able to snap Cryptic. Or they just drew Cryptic. Alright. And now Snap Cryptic is totally a thing. So I need something that forces them to interact, and then I can Fatal Push this. That doesn't interact. That does. So I have to run out the island first so I can actually leave up the black mana. Let's Plague Engineer. That should bait out the Snap Cryptic, and then I can Fatal Push after the fact. So Plague Engineer naming Wizard's going to stop Snapcaster from living, and Pestermite. I know this isn't resolving, but... Huh. Opponent said punt in the chat log. A little surprised they don't want to hard counter this. And this is what I wanted to do from the start. I'm already really far behind. I don't know if they meant that they punted because they should have Crypticed, or they think I punted by cracking the Peatland. But it sounds like they have another counter spell, and that Veil of Summer actually might be enough to get me through this. I have to call Wizard for Pestermite and to get rid of Snapcaster Mage. Yep, I actually suppose that'll do it. So they did cast a blue spell this turn, I believe. If not, it really doesn't matter. I have to draw exactly Fatal Push here. Assuming they did cast a blue spell, which actually doesn't look like they did. Yeah, didn't think so. Alright, well, GG's opponent. Did what I could. Game 1 just had so many lands. But the dumpster fire is being a dumpster fire, so at least life is consistent. I really want to resolve a troll. Like, it just seems like it'd be awesome to resolve a troll. So sad when they can just remand it and then cryptic it, and we just fall so far behind. But for a 5-drop, it just doesn't do enough. Modern is full of cards like Veil of Summer that are 1-mana cryptic commands, not necessarily 5-mana things that are just 8/8s. If you're making a 5-drop and you don't win the game on the spot like a Gifts Ungiven, it's probably not worth running that card. But I have dreams of hunted creatures. They just need to be better. Like the flavor of the creature being able to be hit by the stuff the opponent has, but your creature being better, is just fantastic. Okay, well, we have a redraw, some interaction, and combo, so happy with this. We're even on the play, so we're kind of close to making it happen. Getting a forest here despite the fact I have a complete lack of block because I want this Coatl to have Death Touch, and hoping to get a redraw, and our deck has been overly kind with lands tonight. Looks like it's a Bolt the Bird. Oh, it's a Delver. Okay. Could that have been any better? So this is weak to Force of Negation, but I don't want to give them the ability to untap and have up Spell Pierce. I'd rather make this a 2-for-1 and have Coatl as a backup. Pitching another Delver. Okay. And that does exile it, but what can you do? We have a Coatl, and it looks like we're going to have Death Touch next turn to the opponent, but they don't know that we're not going to have it. They also didn't flip. No Delver luck. Expecting Bolt on Coatl now? Okay, well, better than the bird. Significantly better than on the bird. Land? Dead of Winter. Okay, that will kill my bird. Not excited about that. I don't have double black for Assassin's Trophy. I think I have to just Illness in the ranks. And pass? Really tempted to Hunted Phantasm there, but I don't think that the payoff is good enough. They found another Force of Negation. Fantastic. All right. That means I have to Assassin's Trophy on upkeep. They also miss land drops. That's actually kind of okay. I'm going to Hunted Phantasm, so I have a clock here. Expecting remand or mana leak. Got to pause to read the Hunted Phantasm. And they have a counterspell. Alright, Deprive. Ooh, that's spicy with Mystic Sanctuary. That's not something I had thought about. And they have a Misty, so this might be Teamer. Don't know what advantage they get out of Teamer other than Red and 6, though. Is this honestly Phantasmal Image on Bird? Okay, I'm actually going to Phantasmal Image on the Insectile Aberration. I believe we're going to have a better late game than opponent, and we are just screwed on mana here. Then if they want to try to interact with the Insectile Aberration, it will get sacrificed, but then I'll have a Fatal Push. Their hand is gas slash uncastable things. And it looks like they are blue-red. I was going to push during upkeep. That doesn't make much sense. I want them to spend mana to get rid of my Insectile Aberration first. Really surprised they didn't want to go for the Birds of Paradise, but Archmage's Charm for 3 blue, destroy target Phantasmal Image, I'm on board. Hey, look at that, we got a land. There's our Hunted Troll. You get no tokens, and I have an 8/4. Can't regenerate it yet, but I have an 8/4. Do you have Sinkhole? This Assassin's Trophy is perfect, or this Dead of Winter's perfect. Okay, so I get to do this. Give all creatures -3/-3. Then I have 1 regenerate. Lame. Opponent has no cards left, though. They don't get creature tokens. Alright. I'm happy. I'm officially happy. I'm officially so happy. Young Peasy's on chump block duty. An 8/4 with regenerate is surprisingly hard to deal with in Modern. Target player draws 2 cards. Okay. Probably would have done that during my turn if I were casting that, just so I'd have more options and can do things at sorcery speed, but we're here. Like, I don't even see anything in their yard that they can use to come back from this. This looks like a Snapcaster Mage. Oh, we had 2 Hunted Trolls. If this is a Snapcaster, it's probably Snapcaster target Lightning Bolt. Maybe Deprive, just so that they can pick up Mystic Sanctuary again. But regardless of what it is, all Assassin's Trophy if Snapcaster's going to block. This card is going to make some massive changes. I need to try a little bit harder to brew with this. Alright, opponent, can I hit you with my 8/4? He's a troll warrior. I'm impressed with his skill. It's also interesting that they'd send 4 fairies to kill a giant troll. Not really sure how that math works out, but I respect the fairies for trying. Okay. So I'm going to hit this. Don't really have a good reason to hit it, but I'd prefer that it's just out of the way. I was mildly afraid that the bullet would probably go towards my birds or potentially even just at me, because if it went at me, I am 4 bolts away from dying. And that's completely plausible out of their deck, so I'd rather just not have to deal with it. Targeting Archmage's Charm. Alright, well, kill that. Okay, well, this is instant, so I can cast this Hunted Troll off the Birds of Paradise, and then I'm getting through unblocked for sure. Next turn, I'm losing 2 life, and yeah, whatever, let's just run it out. We came here to cast Hunted things. I should not leave 1 rotting in my hand. That's in bad taste. Oh, overtapped, whatever. Guess now I can't regenerate one of them if they do happen to top deck a Sinkhole. I didn't need to do that. They paid for Deprived, so they couldn't Archmage's Charm. Yeah, that one's on me. But whatever, we got there. Alright, opponent is likely taking out their young Pyromancers. Let's just let that float there for a second. Consideration for Surgical Extraction. I'm not a huge fan of trading a card for half a Snapcaster Mage, but if it's a card that's going to hose us, I'm kind of okay to give that a shot. Veil of Summer is Cryptic Command for Cryptic Command. Collective Brutality can kill a young Pyromancer or a Snapcaster Mage, as well as Duress. Phantasmal Image is probably just weak here. Flibblethip's probably a little bit weak. He's just a bad blocker. And then I'm actually looking at trimming. Yeah, let's just cut a land. 20 lands with 4 mana dorks. Like, I don't know why our deck has just been so mean. We have 5 drops, and yet we're flooding so hard. I really don't like the idea of spending 5 mana and having something get countered. Let's just take out a troll too. Especially if we're taking out a land. Super scientific there, but Phantasmal Images become the target of anything and die, especially when I'm expecting them to bring in Grim Lavamancers. They can just pay red and kill a creature. Just not very good. The troll costing 5, like Cryptic Command's going to be online, Archmage's Charm, Snap Archmage's Charm. I just don't need that around. We've been flooding super hard, and Flibblethip's just meh. Don't really need unconditional removal. If we see a handful of Planeswalkers out of them, I'd be willing to give this another consideration, but we've got 2. We actually have a lot of removal, and they don't have many creatures, so I want to keep this, but people are going to yell at me. Yeah, this is fine. So it has to be one of the non-snow lands. It's probably going to be one of the non-cantripping one. Yeah, let's get rid of the cantrip. Just going to cost too much life long term. Dead of Winter would have been the other consideration there, just because they have to have a board state for Dead of Winter to be good, and having it this dead this early is bad. And I wanted to tap land, but a redraw's a redraw. I don't know why, but I just felt like I was about to get stifled. And we found another land, of course we did. Okay, well, Astrolabe's gonna let us filter in case opponent tries to do something shenanigan-y with. That's fine. That's actually perfectly acceptable. So I'm gonna get a snowland here since we have filtering. Let's go ahead and just get a swamp. Then I'm only... No, we have to do two modes. Kill this, duress. We can pitch. I kind of want the fourth land, but I don't need it, so let's get rid of the non-green one. Then if they want to force, still a 2 for 2. Although they get a token, so that might not have been completely accurate. I get to Dead of Winter next turn, though, which is going to require another force. They just leave the mana up, though. That's... Turn off auto yields. There we go. They left up mana for another hard force. I'm expecting Deprive out of them, so I'm actually going to just Plague Engineer here. Expecting a counter from Archmage's Charm or Deprive. This feels like the better play, and then hopefully next turn I can Dead of Winter with Veil of Summer up. Because this isn't nearly as important as actually getting a full board clear. That was a lot of damage I didn't necessarily need to take, though. Alright, well, no land means I'm cantripping. That's mildly interesting. As long as they have the mana up for Force of Negation, I'm going to let it sit. Opponent is ahead on board, so it's correct of them to hold. But this is going to be my Fatal Push. They're going to try to counter, and then I get a Veil of Summer, and they need to have another counter. So hopefully they're going to try to pay for this with real mana. Oh, they just let it go? That doesn't seem right. I am fairly low, though, and they run 4 Lightning Bolts. That's a Birds of Paradise. Well, I still can't Veil of Summer the Dead of Winter, so Ice Fang Coattle's just going to be trading here. That's disgusting. And no counter magic. Interesting. I don't know what opponent has other than probably a lot of cryptic commands. Guess we'll find out. Yep, they're trying to save a counterspell for something relevant, but that should clean it up. Now they need to find Bolt Snap or Triple Bolt or something along those lines. Drawing a Hunted Troll here means that... Actually, not a whole lot because I'm probably just going to Hunted Phantasm, but... With the Illness in the ranks out, the Hunteds actually become viable. My life total just feels a little low for this matchup. Alright, opponent, what you got? This looks like a sinkhole, but nothing to target. Young Pyromancer, fair. Don't actually want to crack this unless I have to, because that puts me in double bolt range. So let's go ahead and filter into a blue and run out my Hunted Phantasm. Then opponent needs to figure out how to hit this for 6 to attack. Dead of Winter right now is going to give -4/-4 because the Astrolabs. That feels awful. This might be a good thing for me. Because if Burn's pointed at the Hunted Phantasm, then it's not pointed at me. Alright, you got it. Basic. Not a basic. With 4 cards in hand, opponent likely has a deprive. I think I'm just on birds and save this for a future collective brutality. Just so I can try to drain back above to a healthy life total. That's a Delver. Delver requires an answer. That's not exactly an answer, but that is actually something worth cracking a fetch over. So let's go ahead and run out our Hunted Phantasm. Or Hunted Troll, sorry. If they want to try to deprive this, I'll crack the Veil of Summer and... or crack the Misty and Veil of Summer. Interesting. Okay. Really hoping Delver doesn't flip here. This actually may have been loose. Dead of Winter would have killed my Birds of Paradise, but it also would have just removed the Delver from the equation. Now, if I try to Dead of Winter, it's going to be from -5/-5. That will kill my Troll. But if they don't top deck well, my Troll's going to put in more work. Well, looks like Troll's putting in work. Let's just cantrip. It's going to kill everything at the moment anyway. Alright, that's an additional land. So if opponent has burn, they have to point it at my petty theft targeting my Troll. Yeah, that's not happening. Oh, there's an Assassin's Trophy. That is beautiful. Brazen Borrower also goes to the yard because I countered the petty theft. That's the way that the adventures work. Revealing a lightning bolt. Oh boy. That's slightly sketchy. So I'm going to assign block here. I want to keep my Birds of Paradise around. I don't really have a solid reason for that. Actually, no, I don't, because this die means if they have an additional blocker, I just kill the blocker and then I have lethal. So that all seems fine. Let's just go for the kill. So Snapcaster can hit Deprive or Sinkhole. But neither of them should get the opponent out of this, so... might actually be able to steal a win here. Yep, there's a Snapcaster. Snapcaster, target anything that you want to. Yeah, taking Deprive. Not overly surprised by that. Let's clear the way. This does give them an additional mana, so if they have something for 3, they'll be able to use it here. But odds are that's probably not very many cards. They have another Snapcaster. Alright, you got it, opponent. This one likely targeting Op just that they can efficiently use their mana. Nope, they went after Sinkhole. Or Deprive, sorry. Sinkhole is not a modern card. So I can't imagine that they're looking for anything specific here. If they have Bolt, I've used 2 of their Snapcasters, so they need to have... What do I actually care about out of them? They need to be able to hit me for 4 damage here. I don't think that that's good enough for me to want a Dead of Winter, and besides, Dead of Winter will put me dead to 2 bolts anyway without the Insectile Aberration and get rid of my clock. I think we just have to give it to them and see if they can pull off the damage. Because Dead of Winter is going to be minus 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 at the moment. This looks like a bolt. Pointed at me. So I'm assuming they have lethal. Nope, they're looking. If I didn't force them to pull out that second Snapcaster Mage, though, we'd be dead. It's not too bad. After Illness in the Ranks got them the first game, though, I thought for sure they'd be pulling out Young Pyromancer. I still think they might have it. I mean, Snapcaster kills me. Grim Lavamancer kind of kills me, too. Alright, removal! Prismatic Vista. Unfortunately, Regenerate doesn't get around Dead of Winter, so... Opponent's going to have more cantrips and better top decks than me. V-click? Alright, so opponent's trying to flex here. I'll regenerate it just for fun. It's going to die anyway, but... Well, opponent has no cards in hand, so this is the moment of truth. We clear the board. I don't have a reason to run out of second Illness in the Ranks. Cracking any of my lands will kill me. Them top decking a creature before me is likely lethal. Them top decking any burn is lethal. Clackback Troll would be horrendous because I don't have enough mana to actually pay for it. That's a very sad Birds of Paradise. And that's a Delver of Secrets. I do have a chump blocker for a turn. Oh, this doesn't actually accomplish anything, though. I mean, I guess it technically kills their creature and lets me fetch, but it's not... I don't count that as being productive. I'm saving the other Prismatic Vista for another Collective Brutality, like I stated earlier. It's just... I can technically cast the Troll now. I guess that's Ride the Upside. Target player draws 2 cards. Why did you not fire that off as quickly as you possibly could? Well, one is a land, and the other is not a bolt. Okay, I guess that covers me versus another creature. Get in there, bird. Send a message. Yeah, that hurt, didn't it? Opponent goes to 3. That will actually do it. So they're picking up the Lightning Bolt, and that will kill me. Well done, opponent. Yeah, that card is pretty awesome. All right, well, hopefully taking the play is going to be a little bit better. I don't think Phantasmal Image is going to help at all. The troll is cute, but it's just so freaking hard to cast. I guess Surgical could be a consideration here, and the lands were just awful. I think we're just going to run it back as it is. Flibblethip would be the only thing I kind of want to bring in, and that's just more because it's funny than it's actually good. This isn't great. We get Collective Brutality on 2, Hunted Phantasm on 3. I don't want to go to 5, though. We can tuck the Painland. We also don't have double blue. Oh well. Hopefully we'll find an Astrolabe or another fetch land before too long. This has been a pretty good game, though. Like, actually playing against a fair deck in Modern, this is kind of awesome, but the earlier games were slightly awkward. This is going to have to get me blue, so we're going to Collective Brutality here anyway in Duress mode. Yeah, let's just take a look at what you got. I want to target you. Opponent is considering using Force of Negation on this. Huh. They have a good spell hand. I don't think Lightning Bolt actually contributes a whole lot to anything that we're doing. I think it's Force of Negation, so if they draw something good, I can actually land my Assassin's Trophy. Opponent really cared about something in there, but they had a couple of lands and cantrips to sculpt their hand, so I'm not going to take one of 3 cantrips. It would have been the Lightning Bolt. Ooh, another Coatl. Okay, that is a card I'm happy with, and we don't want to F6. We want to F2. Okay, opponent just wants to burn me. I think they realize that they don't have as good of a late game as we do. Either that or they have a Snapcaster Bolt coming down for next turn. Probably not the Snap Bolt. But likely a Deprive? That's at least the read I'm getting. They left up blue-blue, and they tapped their basic. So that means that they can pick up their basic without too much going wrong. Although they appear to be F6, so maybe not. That's actually okay. They won't have any hasty threats that a second Ice Fang can't take care of. This Clack Bridge is going to be awesome if it resolves. I just wanted to cast this once tonight. He gives your opponents goats. Like, that actually could be a problem. Like, that might be Assassin's Trophy level problem. Versus if they actually tap down. Okay, so they didn't tap down. They're still representing the Deprive if they've got it. I'm going to try to bait the Deprive with the Assassin's Trophy here. So if I top deck a Swamp, I can land the Clackbridge Troll. Oh, okay. That might mean Archmage's Charm. Alright, whatever. We're trying. We are trying. Just don't counter it. Be cool. I really, really wanted to cast this tonight. Oh, they got it. Yep. Okay. Well, I guess I'll attack for 1. Oh, nope, they're going to go get Mystic Sanctuary and pick up the probably, yep, the deprive. And then they have a deprive loop. So that's not great, but we have a couple of cards. That's a young pyromancer, so I need an illness in the ranks, probably. Actually, that's fine too. So I only have one green source. Guess we'll see if you want to try to deprive it. The loop that they're going to do is deprive, pick up the Mystic Sanctuary, replay the Mystic Sanctuary, put deprive back on top of the deck, and that gives them a counterspell every turn. It does lock them in at 5 lands, but with their deck being like this, they're going to get attrition out of the Young Pyromancer. I need to lock down a little bit of a board state in order for this to even remotely work. And drawing illness in the ranks there means that I actually might be able to close this out. Unless I have another counterspell. Picking up Lightning Bolt. I don't know what Lightning Bolt is supposed to accomplish here. I guess Lightning Bolt with a Sinkhole would be able to kill the Phantasm. So they drew the Lightning Bolt, Deprive's still in the yard, they should have another Mystic Sanctuary in hand. Oh, they're just going to double bolt the Phantasm. That's adorable. Put the bolt back on top of the deck. Use Serum Visions to draw the bolt again. Bolt the Phantasmal Image. Like, that's a lot of loops to go through. My opponent is still technically ahead, though, because they have these Mystic Sanctuaries. If they find another Deprive, they're perfectly set. Or if they just have a third Mystic Sanctuary in the deck, a fetch land turns it on. There's a Hunted Troll. So I think my job here is actually to coaddle first. Okay. I was looking for a green source there or potentially a Fatal Push while the opponent only has one card in hand. But another coaddle's fine. Like, I get a trade with the Young Pyromancer, which means they're likely not attacking this turn. Yeah, drawing 2 is pretty good. Unfortunately, the fact that opponent's seen 2 random cards and they haven't made a land drop yet this turn means that... Oh, no, they did. They did before the Archmage's Charm. I'd need an additional green source for this Hunted Troll to actually regenerate. If they happen to have a Sinkhole in hand, it's going to be a little hard to resolve this guy and let him stick around with the Regenerate clause. That is actually a fantastic draw. That will let me filter. Also cantrip, just... Oh, I'm a fan of that. So let's attack with both. And then I think I want to play the 2 cards in hand at instant speed. Actually, I haven't made my land drop yet. Let's just do this now. I definitely don't want to push on my turn, though, because of the Force of Negations. That will be fine for a future land drop. I am expecting a Force of Negation out of opponent, though, since they left 3 mana up. Petty theft on that. Okay. So they're going to have a Brazen Borrower now, but they won't be able to actually protect the young Pyromancer. So that doesn't do anything for the moment. They do have a Brazen Borrower incoming, though. And that likely means they have a counterspell in hand. So let's stress. I need to leave up as much black as possible. And then probably as much green as possible. Although I'm not going to be multi-spelling super hard here. It's likely just going to be an illness in the ranks. Okay. I mean, they do get to draw 2 cards, and then I get to take a pick of one of the 2 cards. So it's a Grim Lavamancer and a Delver. So Brutality would have been fine in the near future. Let's Illness. Then, yeah, let's just attack with all. I think we're far enough ahead at the moment. This Flooded Strand can potentially get a 3rd Mystic Sanctuary, so that is something to keep in mind. So, opponent might be able to craft their hand out of something in the yard. Does not look like they have a 3rd Mystic Sanctuary, so just need to stop them from drawing Deprive. And opponent still thinks they can race us. I guess them blocking doesn't change the clock at all. That could change the clock. In fact, if that flips, we're pretty much just dead. Plague Engineer? Fatal Push. Hunted Troll, Fatal Push. I'm not going to be able to trigger Revolt, which means it'd have to be on the Delver, the Grim Lavamancer. At this point, likely the Grim Lavamancer. Hunted Phantasm will actually be... Okay, so I just need to get in for 1, Fatal Push the Grim Lavamancer, and then cast the Hunted Phantasm, and it'll be lethal next turn. Then don't want you activating. And you need to top deck something amazing. If this doesn't flip, they flip with a Deprive. Alright, well that's game then. They're not going to be able to get a second spell to cast the Deprive. I'm not going to do anything to trigger it, and this cannot be blocked. So, Hunted Phantasm actually going to get a lethal shot in here. I guess they can hit me for 3 if they want to go out swinging. Alright, well, the ones with 2 toughness are better. Although, the one that you can get bounce target non-land permanent off is actually higher value. Oh, really? Just a little too late there, Plague Engineer. Now, don't get me wrong, deck. I'm not mad, but you have given us some really lousy luck tonight, and that last one, that Plague Engineer could have come down a couple of turns ago. All right, well, we did still a win so far. Winter Hunting, obviously, play on snow hunted creatures. They're doing better than I probably would have expected. We are currently 1-3, waiting for the last match. Yeah, I mean, Coatl should buy some time, assuming we can get 3 snow permanents. Astrolabe is just a very powerful magic card, even outside of Urza. We get to cast some big hunted creatures, and Illness in the Ranks, when it's incidentally good, is actually very good in Modern. Like this right here deck is kind of unacceptable. I am going to keep this because this is a redraw. We are on the draw, and odds are the first bird is going to get bolted, so any of our 5 drops are still going to be live here. Like, honestly, if I top deck a land, turn 2 is just going to be another Birds of Paradise, cycle the Peatland, and the 4th Steam Vents of the Night. So, you going to bolt my bird? I have a backup. Basic Mountain, more likely to bolt the bird. Brawl, so it's Storm. This might be a little rough to win. Let's just cycle this guy. There's a troll. Unfortunately, cycling the land means my troll's not going to get in. And I might just be dead here. Okay. They're looking for gifts ungiven. They had Manamorphose Tron. Yep, that's game. They're going to go get the standard stack, and then I can't do anything about that. I'm very far behind doing anything. All right, Collective Brutality, definitely. Surgical coming in. Veil of Summer can stop the remands. I don't think that's probably good enough. Force of Vigor doesn't do anything. Collector Roof doesn't do anything. Assassin's Trophy can be another way to snag a dork. This can hit Electromancer. I have Fatal Push and Assassin's Trophy. Illness in the ranks for the Goblins. If opponents expecting us to take their graveyard away when we only have 2 Surgicals, Illness in the ranks might actually be clutch sideboard tech. Oh, this is so bad. Phantasmal Image is probably going to be a little bit on the slow side. Cloning their creatures also isn't going to be very beneficial. Then Flibblethip, why do you just never have to be good enough? Like, you're never good enough. It's awesome to see you, but you just don't make the cut. It's fun when you appear. You're not what I'm looking for. All right, we get Duress, Surgical, Board Clear. Redraw? Mana Fixing? Sure. I don't have high hopes for Storm. We don't put up a quick enough clock, and we actually do a lot to help them, so we'll see what we can do. It might have been worth trying to mull for Illness in the ranks, but seeing as how we only have 3 of them, it's not worth pitching a somewhat decent hand with some sideboard tech in it. All right, let's take a peek. I want to see what we're working with here. Grape Shot, Bolt, Electromancer. So I can take the Grape Shot and take a look at their deck, put them on only... Yeah, that's 100% the play. So let's Surgical that. Get Mr. Snippy ready. Then we're looking for a Surgical or a Plague Engineer. Okay, yeah, they didn't even want to show it to us. All right. Anything change there? The Veil of Summer would be the only consideration. We can probably use that as a cantrip, but... Ooh. Actually, I do want this. This stops gifts ungiven. I just did that as a spread to see what we want. Clackbrat, Troll. I just really want to cast this tonight. Let's bring this in and take out another Fairy Dude. Hunted Phantasm is mildly relevant. The 8/4 probably won't be killed by anything that they have and present a faster clock. Sure, let's do that. Hunted Phantasm being a 4/6 isn't a very relevant body in this matchup, but being an 8/4 can represent a fast clock if he comes down fast enough. And then I just want to cast the Troll. Plus the Troll hitting for 8 is not irrelevant. Bird into Brutality, into Brutality, into Brit. Yeah. Turn 4 Troll. We're probably going to die on turn 3, but turn 4 Troll. Force just meant we didn't have to fetch it. Probably going to put Breeding Pool in tapped and Collective Brutality off the Birds of Paradise. Use Prismatic Vista to go get the Snow-Covered Swamp. I mean, you put that in your deck, so sometimes that happens. You know what they say, bolt the bird. Empty the Warrens, Arya, Electromancer. So, next turn is likely going to be Arya. And then they're going to try to combo off with the Brawl. There's the Steam Vents. Here's the Arya. They did get a fresh draw, so I'm just going to try to snag a spell out of their hand. Yep, there's an Opt. Well worth it. Then I need double black, but I'm going to get a lot of fixing here. Cantrip, thin the deck a little bit. Fortunately, 2 turns away from the troll, but opponent doesn't actually have a lot going on for them at this point. This might just be double mana dork. Yep. Okay, Goblin Wizard, Human Wizard. First things first, though, let's take a look at what we draw. If we get a Dead of Winter, I'll be ecstatic. Nope. I'm not going to be able to get a blue source off of this, but I don't think that's very relevant. This is going to stop beats, though. They won't be able to attack. I could have just named Goblin, and that would have shrunk this, and Brawl couldn't have gotten in, and it would have shut off and empty the Warrens, but they have to draw a lot before that's viable, where I'm going to be attacking with the Troll next turn. I'm actually going to do it! I get to cast him! And I could have named Goat, too. Yeah, as Plague Engineer, I got a little hasty on. Pause to read Clackbridge Troll. Somebody's actually running this garbage in Modern. They don't have much going on for them. They might be sacking the Goat. Num 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 num. Alright, next turn's going to be Coatl looking for Illness in the ranks, and then probably Fatal Push the Electromancer because Brawl's legendary. Oh, I can take out both mana dorks? That's pretty stellar. There's Coatl. There's an Illness in the ranks. Opponent, are you having a good time? Because I'm having a good time. Like, I'm having a fantastic time over here. Let's grab that last snow-covered dude. Oh. I'm going to hit Brawl. It's harder for them to combo off without a mana dork. If they have a second Brawl in hand, I should have hit the Arya, but being at 27 with opponent only 2 cards in hand, I feel moderately safe. Besides, they're on a 2-turn clock. They have to kill me this turn. I'll put it on the table, opponent. I could have slow-rolled something. In fact, slow-rolling the Assassin's Trophy probably would have made a lot of sense. But you gotta make it happen here. You need to hit Mana Dork Ritual Gifts, I think is exactly how it needs to go down. Actually, no, you need Past in Flame somewhere in there, because you're not going to be able to finish. Finale might be able to do it. Wow, okay. Chaining Manamorphoses. I mean, kudos to you. Maybe I should have just gone for the Arya. This is Trample. It's not like Brawl was chump blocking a whole lot, but we pulled it off. Alright, well, 2-3 is a thing. We did play a lot of Steam Vents decks, and honestly, I think that's going to be one of our harder matchups. But given the fact that we had basically 10 hunted creatures in our deck, I feel like we did fine. If you count the Phantasmal Images, we had 14. Phantasmal Image actually cloned Insectile Aberration. That's all it did tonight. We also had a Flibblethip. But yeah, I don't have a lot of comments on this. This wasn't meant to be good. It was meant to be fun, and I had fun. I actually got to cast the Troll. The Troll got distracted by a Goat. So, Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Illness in the ranks was actually pretty decent. The matches, it was pretty decent. But, anyways, I'm 13. I do a bunch of jank and fun decks for Squirrel Dealer. Some are competitive, but most of them are like really bad twists on competitive, like Blue White Bogles. If you'd like to check out our YouTube channel, just search for Squirrel Dealer. We have like 8 months worth of content up at this point or something ridiculous. I do stream twice a week. Monday on the schedule over on the left hand side is actually needs to be taken off, but do a lot of fun stuff. If you have a fun deck or a fun interaction, I'd love to hear about it. Send it to decks@squirreldealer.com. Otherwise, feel free to reach out to us on any of those links down below on the social media. But thanks for hanging around tonight, guys. We got to cast some really fun, stupid creatures, and I will be back next Sunday. Have a good one, everybody.